Hi, I'm Alistair,
And I'm Mary Richardson.
and we're in our pop-up studio today, and we're having a cosy conversation.
And I love our cosy conversations, although we have lots of them, because I think it really does make me think about my pedagogy and my approach to learning.
Poor Maddie has to put up with me dumping my head on her, especially if I was away all last week and I've come back with and I've downloaded onto you, Maddie.
But actually, it's really good for me professionally, I have to admit. And I was thinking about, you've just recently done your webinar on handwriting.
Yeah.
And it made me think about, my opinion of handwriting and whether I think it's important or not, looking at my grandchildren at the weekend, to be honest, as well, but also how I had approached it previously, because one of my grandchildren is, every time they go to the nursery, they're told she's so creative. Now, I don't know whether that means I wish she'd stop using all the paper, but my other grandchild, he's still at the stage where he's holding the pencil in a fist, and
I guess knowing that he's over 4, we would kind of associate with 1.5, 2 years old, and so he should be more finite. Should be in his world.
And I questioned it with his mum, to be honest, and said you need to work on this and work on that. But she's really good. So what she did was he loves number. He just loves numbers. So she got a book and encouraged him to do his numbers in the book. But the book was also a book that you could erase the numbers after you've written them. And that was the best bit. He liked that bit the best, following the number.
So he was not remotely bothered about mark making at all. It was actually, I can rub it out.
And he just loved that.
That's interesting, Mary, because I've been away and I've spoken to lots of educational resource suppliers, and I was speaking to childminders, and writing came up a lot. And because, as we know, in one of the countries of the United Kingdom has just spent a huge amount of money rewriting their writing materials and their penmanship programme as part of the curriculum. And then we're party to conversations in other parts of the United Kingdom where we're talking about taking it out of the curriculum completely. So would you take it out of the curriculum, or do you think it's important? Do you think you're a dinosaur like Maddie and I are? Because my head's completely...
Sometimes you read one thing and you think, no, I'm for that, and then you read another thing and you think, no, I'm not for... Yeah, and your head does. But interesting enough, it was my birthday at the weekend. And my daughter asked my grandson to write my birthday envelope, and he did lots of lovely writing on the envelope. And actually, if you analyse what he's written here,
so he's got a G, which is like a circle with a tail in it that I can see here, and there's a start of an R and an N. I would think that's an N. So they're there. They're not in any way cohesive, but you can see he's trying.
And his G, he said to his mum, that's like a 9.
Which is,
So again, he was really thinking about it and analysing it. And I think, he's so good at maths. Does it matter that he's not writing?
And the other thing as well, Mary, is the reality is, like, I've got 4 children in my life, and so I've got somebody who works in human rights, somebody who works in filmmaking, somebody who works in fashion buying, and somebody who sells houses across Scotland. And when I had a conversation with them about it, because I was doing the webinar, they don't write. They never, in any of their jobs, do they write anything. They always do it on the computer, which spell checks on, because with the childminders, we get hung up on spelling, when they can't spell or write. But actually, even loads of Hollywood actors now get their scripts not written, but on podcasts.
Because that's what they're used to.
And so there's a huge amount of research and evidence that's saying, we need to, I think it's a fundamental skill. I think it's a foundational skill, and I love the fact that we still teach it. And that I think that there will always be a place for it in my life. But actually, I need to say, and to back that up, Sweden 5 or 6 years ago took handwriting out of their curriculum, and they went to tech and technologies and ICT and AI and things. But they've just flipped. So they're now, actually, they're bringing it back.
And I was at a friend's house yesterday, and they were watching something on the TV that I probably wouldn't watch if I was in my own house, and it was the 22 children, the Radcliffes.
All right, okay.
And it was one of the older children. He was doing getting ready for his exams, and he was really, really panicking about his English. And he didn't think he was going to pass it, and his big sister was helping him. And they had filmed some of him reading her reading a passage to him, and you could see that it was just not registering, not going in at all.
So he wasn't listening?
He was really trying to concentrate.
Okay.
It really was. And then he's really interested in aeroplanes and bigness of things. So his dad had taken him to see Concorde.
Okay.
And they got to go inside Concorde and see Concorde. And like his articulation of what was happening was amazing. But actually, he explained how aeroplanes stay up in the sky.
Oh my God, how many times have you and I to comment how he's like staying up? That's bizarre.
And I actually understood it. It was amazing.
Oh, right,
his way of telling us, you know.
And so that is going to be the reality. Now, we are all different, and should it be that it's a choice that they learn to write if they want to learn to write, and if they don't, or if that's not their... But then that's so difficult for the teacher to deal with that.
And actually, he was using the window to do formulas on the window with a pen.
Okay.
Probably one a bit like Samuel's.
Numbers.
So he could, But his writing skills were there, definitely there. It was that comprehension of understanding the reading passage.
And so I guess that we're talking about an autistic person, and there is a whole gambit of different needs, isn't there? Mm-hmm. And so should all of our children be expected, because you're right, you know, like speaking and listening. I can remember when Rebecca was doing French and Italian at higher and then at university, she could speak and listen to it, but reading and writing it was a problem. But she would never probably have to do that. You know, and I know that it's helpful if you can read danger signs or read signs and around you. So I think reading and writing are fundamental foundational skills that our children should have access to. But should we get as caught up about them as we are?
We are. Well, this after the card, I have to say it was funny because when I got the card from outside the envelope, there was just a scribble, and I said to Siobhan, and she said, "Oh, it had enough once he'd written the envelope. He didn't want to write anything else." But he did draw a map from his house to my house.
Okay.
And I think this is a really good map. But
so he's 4, remember he's 4.
He's not 4 yet.
He's not 4 yet. He's nearly 4.
Okay. So it'll be 4 in June. So, but this map, do you know what the brown dots are?
Well, no, but I can see a map, obviously. Are they cars on the road?
They're not cars. They're the sleeping policeman from his house to my house.
So the bumps in the road. So this wee yellow thing, is that Sam's house? Okay.
And when they were coming to my house, they counted the sleeping policeman, and he has the exact number
of sleeping policemen
on this map.
And so Siobhan, his mum, counted them with him, and that's the right number. So the amount of information that is actually on that there from Samuel's head is huge compared to if he'd written a story, because he wouldn't want to have written a story. No. So the marks that children make are really important, but is actual formation of writing, oh my gosh, my head is even more munched up now.
Who knows?
But I think this is the thing, isn't it, Gary, that we, Maddie, we have to have these pedagogical dialogues and conversations. I mean, when was the last time one of you had a conversation with one of your team about something that's actually it's really important. You know, because if they become a pharmacist, they need to write a prescription. If they become a doctor, they need to write notes. Or will they in the future? Will it all be typed?
But
what if the typing lets us down?
I think it is almost all typed, because I know I can't read a doctor's handwriting, and I can't because it's so quick. It tends to be a quick.
And I guess when I wrote my children's stories, I wrote them all long, and when I write my head on a page, I write it longhand, and you know, maybe 2 or 3 times. If I'm getting ready for a webinar, you know, when I'm writing notes to kind of keep myself right beside the camera, then I write it by hand. I hate printing it out.
Yeah, and I write mine by hand.
But then is that just about us?
Is that us being old?
And that's and that's because that's the way we were taught.
Yeah.
And that's the way we've taken it on board. So it's in our ability to do it, but should we be hung up on doing it with the children? It's the speaking and listening. It's the understanding and gaining of knowledge. Why do we write? There's a big question for you right there. Why do we write? Why is it important that we teach children to write? So, if you've enjoyed this cosy conversation, join us on another. I'm sure there will be many of them that you can join in with us. See you later.
Bye.